Hey guys, welcome back to ProductNation, and in this video, we're talking next-gen gaming with the Xbox Series S. Next, we move on to the actual setup of the device. So starting it up, pretty much the entire setup process depends on you downloading the Xbox application on your phone and completing the setup from there. Very straightforward, very simple. All you have to do is go through the upgrade process. There's an update process right when you start the console and you're pretty much good to go. So you just log in with your Xbox Microsoft ID and it's gonna be linked up. So if you're an existing user, great for you. If not, then you can create a new account and you're pretty much set. So just as you complete the setup process, it takes you straight to the Game Pass page where you can purchase the Game Pass right away. Now, something to keep in mind is that this gen of Xbox and console gaming, specifically for Xbox, is focused around the Game Pass. You can get Game Pass on Microsoft and Windows gaming overall, but for the Xbox, that's pretty much the main selling factor, even more so than the next-gen gaming. You're able to go through the Game Pass and explore that library that is massive. There's a huge game selection. You can look for games from years ago all the way up till now. And new releases aren't really on there. I can just tell you right now, the biggest pro, the main reason to purchase the Xbox Series S or the X would be the Game Pass. Biggest selling factor in my opinion. Next, let's talk about the controller. Now, a lot of people really liked that the design stayed very similar to the last gen, and a lot of people were kind of disappointed that it didn't change as much from last gen. So I guess there was no real reason to change it much. But for people who are looking for a little bit of a refreshing change, yeah, there isn't much. It looks almost exactly the same, except that share button has been placed right in the middle, which makes it a lot more convenient to share clips, screenshots, etc. if you want to. As a controller on its own, pretty great design. They've added textures to the back, to the triggers as well. It's not very heavy, not lightweight either, that you can fling across the room. Ergonomics wise, feels really good in the hand as well. Slightly slimmer than the previous generation, but overall the feel and texture to it is quite nice. One thing that I didn't like about the controller, I guess, would be the D-pad. It's slightly weirder and clickier than I would have wanted. And there's no clear distinction for the top, bottom, left, right. It's kind of all blendy together. I'm not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. Now we move on to the home screen. The home screen has not changed as much. So if you're an Xbox user for a little bit, you will feel very familiar. It feels very at home. So the design, the way you navigate through the different menus, very, very similar. Not much has changed there. Next, let's talk about the actual resolution and display you get out of it. The monitor that we were using was the LG monitor that supports 2K at up to 144 Hz refresh rate, but the Xbox Series S is able to upscale up to 4K. So if you check that setting off of upscaling 4K, only then you will be able to achieve the 120 Hz, 120 FPS refresh rate. So this was something we struggled with a little bit, but Alex and I finally figured out that if you turn off the 4K upscaling, only then you get the 120 Hz, otherwise you'll be stuck at 60 Hz. Now, I talked to a fair bit of people about the next-gen gaming experience, what that really means for a lot of people. I think when you just think about it, next-gen would mean amazing graphics, high refresh rates, crazy resolution support and all of that. The Xbox Series S doesn't really boast a lot of that. The main difference that I saw between this and something like the PS5 perhaps is that it doesn't feel next-gen enough in terms of the hardware, in terms of what you're experiencing, the way you connect to a console. With the Xbox Series X on the other hand, you probably would feel a little bit more of that because the hardware is so strong and powerful. You can do a lot more when it comes to rendering speeds and the clocking speeds. Something like the PS5, the controller itself, the haptic feedback to the triggers, the way it adapts to different games and different resistances, that feels next-gen to me. Obviously the graphics were great, the resolution was great, the FPS that you can get out of it really great, but overall not very next-gen. So one of the things that really did feel next-gen was the quick launching speeds and the quick resume. The launching speeds are quite significant. I can really see a huge difference between the previous generations of the PlayStations, the Xbox, whatever it is, any console. This was the fastest launching speed I've ever seen. Even games that usually take a very long time to start up were instantaneous with this one. Quick resume, amazing feature, especially because of the Game Pass. I got multiple games that I wanted to try out at the same time. I was able to switch back to each game and resume from where I left off, which is an amazing feature to have. And it really makes you feel immersed in that. And the loading speeds are so quick as well. It feels really good. Now let's talk about the pros and the cons on the Xbox Series S. The first pro obviously is going to be the size, form factor, and the convenience offered by the Xbox Series S. It is very, very small. Now when we got the box and opened it up, I couldn't believe how much smaller it was within the box itself. It looks small in pictures and videos, but in person it's a totally different thing. Very, very tiny. So yeah, overall just feels very silent, fits into any environment, very portable and convenient. Carry it around anywhere you go and it'll fit into any aesthetic. The second pro would be the Game Pass and the game selection that you get out of it. The Game Pass obviously is not a pro exclusive to the Xbox Series S, it's to Microsoft gaming in general. Huge plus, I think one of the main reasons to purchase an Xbox right now would be the Game Pass. The third pro on this would be the quick resume, launch speeds, and the overall smooth gaming experience. Like I mentioned earlier, the quick play, the resume, the switching between games and apps, absolutely brilliant. While I was using the Xbox, I also streamed on Twitch a little bit, so I was able to switch to the Twitch app and back to the game instantaneously. Very quick, really enjoy that, especially when it comes to that feel for the next-gen gaming. Now let's talk about the cons on the Xbox Series S. These would be the reasons why maybe you wouldn't want to purchase it. The first, and I think the biggest con on this, is that the storage is limited to 512 gigabytes. Now a lot of people wouldn't find this to be much of an issue because there's expandable storage, or you can go 512 is good enough for you, I don't want to play that many games. But if you're purchasing a next-gen console that you want to use for 5 to 6 years, maybe 8 years, you kind of will go through different games. And like I said, the main selling factor of the Xbox this year has been the Game Pass. Now you obviously could say that you can get expandable storage, but yeah, that would cost you upwards of $200 as well. At that point, why wouldn't you just get the Xbox Series X for a better, stronger performance? So it's a little bit confusing why they did that with the storage side, but yeah, that's my biggest con. The storage on this has been kind of a bummer. The fact that you're limited to just digital downloads and there's no more CD slot, so it kind of ties in with the first con. You can't collect CDs, you have to rely exclusively on the storage provided on the device, which is already so limited. So you can't really have a huge selection of games, you can't collect games, you can't trade games with your friends, you can't do any of that. You're really limited to those 4 or 5 games depending on the titles, and shuffling through them, recharging them, changing them up is gonna be a problem to you. Now let's talk about who the Xbox Series S is really for. If you're looking to dabble your toes into next-gen gaming but aren't willing to spend the big bucks or really go all in and crazy with it, then the Xbox Series S is definitely the greater option for you. You can experience true next-gen gaming to a certain extent with it, get the faster refresh rate, get the faster response time, quick resume, switching through games, all of that good stuff. And you'll feel not that crazy with the budget that you spend on it. Play games like FPS games that are cross-platform, something like the Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, whatever. You get that higher refresh rate for a lot cheaper than a PC build, for example. Yeah, you still get 120 FPS consistently, 2K graphics in resolution. Some PCs can't even support that. So that's something to consider as well if you're not willing to invest in the PC spectrum, but you want similar performance and a very, very small budget. This is the cheapest console you can get right now, guys. Just keep that in mind as well. Like, it's the most budget console that gives you next-gen experience. So for you guys, this is gonna be a huge plus. But obviously, these consoles, like I said, their lifespan is about 6 to 8 years. And if you're willing to purchase it right now, I would rather invest and get the Xbox Series X for that factor, because it's 4K support, it's more future-proof comparatively. You have a CD drive, better storage, the clocking speeds are higher, the processing power is higher. So overall, the rendering and everything would be a lot better on the Xbox Series X. So that's about it, guys. That is our review of the next-gen console, Xbox Series S. We hope this was informative. You guys enjoyed this. If it was, make sure you hit that like button and do consider subscribing for more content just like this. And we'll be seeing you again in the next video.